Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it and give this video a like.
Podcast below in the description. Check that out as well.
We're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
#1 vodka in America. Go make yourself a cocktail.
Savor responsibly. He had a good game. And the key for the Niners, I think, after 1 week, if we're making proclamations about them, one is going to be playing from ahead. Now, we've already, I think, established that with Jimmy's skill set. It's not a great skill set. If you're going to be a team that wants to run the football, then obviously playing from ahead. Everybody wants to play from ahead. But for them, negating the run game a little bit, and then you can take advantage of a defense that's emphasizing pass rushing, is going to be a big deal because, as we saw early when that game was in the balance, even Goff actually I thought looked better than he usually does against the 49ers on Sunday. But this isn't about him. It's about Jimmy. But I just,
average guy, he completed 38 balls, Jared Goff, and was not over 6 yards of completion.
Yeah. He missed a few throws that actually were beneficial, like some throws that a better quarterback makes the defense pay on. I just thought he looked less frenetic than he usually looks against them.
I agree. I would agree there.
Jimmy's, the fumble on the opening snap. And I thought
center already sweating at his ass.
Maybe. I thought he looked pretty comfortable. Given everything that we've talked about over the last year with him, I thought he looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I just think Jimmy Garoppolo in a vacuum was his most calm game he's played since 2019. Last year, I never thought at any moment he looked as comfortable as he did today. Now,
especially not at the beginning of seasons.
I think you do have to preface this with they were playing arguably a bottom 2 or 3 team. Like, that is part of the conversation here a little bit when you're talking about just Jimmy and the quarterbacks. Obviously, traded in play, but just Jimmy was good, but he wasn't really pressured that often. And when he was a couple times, and he's got a cool little, like, kind of up and under, and then he kind of still looks to lob it. It's like kind of Jimmy's go-to wow play, I would say. But the Lions, the only defender you can probably name, like most people, would be Okudah, who's getting screamed at left and right. Their defense is not.
Michael Brockers.
They don't have much. But he's at this point in time a little older, and kind of a fill-in.
Name somebody.
But my point is, like, they're just not. You don't have to worry about getting pressure, and that is an area sometimes I think with Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think we're going to feel more this week, and we'll get way more into the Eagles game. But, like, they have a much better defensive line, so, like, to me, where Jimmy gets out of sorts, right, is like you hit him a little bit, like any quarterback, but it's like then he kind of starts. I don't know. You can get him off. Like, to me, the way to mess with Tom is, like, truly get him off his spot. But that doesn't mean get him off the spot, not because he'll freak, because, like, he's not athletic, so he can't step into throws. To me, Jimmy, you just want to kind of fucking hit him a little bit and then just kind of rattle him. The same knock on Derek. Once you get him, like, you can't Mahomes, like, hit him. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. Same with like certain
harder
quarterbacks
to hit too, right?
Harder to hit, but it's also like harder
less
to really kind of, I would say, derail their confidence. Like, Jimmy today kind of felt, even after the fumble, like they just kind of had their mojo. It's like, oh, he's feeling it. And when Jimmy's a feel it guy, he can look like a top, 12, 13 quarterback in the league. Like, once he gets momentum on his side.
It's hard to keep rhythm for 4 quarters of a game, right? You're going to have to make some plays that are a little, quote unquote, off schedule, however we want to say it, right? Because his rhythm looks really good. It's just hard. A football game is long. 4 quarters is a long time to have to win. We saw it with them today. We saw it repeatedly over the weekend in college football.
You notice it in college football.
It's like, if this game was 3.5 quarters, it would be over.
But there's a much different rhythm. I text you on Saturday. I'm like, it is not unfair, but their game is completely different with the stopping of the clock at the first down, like late in games when you're out of tight ends. Yeah. But they do college games feel longer. But I felt it today. I'm like, God damn, this preseason guys just come out and you're like, oh, the game felt like 35 minutes. These games do feel 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think the Browns-Chiefs game is a good example. Like, it was over, then it's not over. And we talked a lot about this last year, over the last couple years. Now, it didn't impact this game. You got to be careful with, like, a team when they score in that first drive. You're like, oh, fuck, it's just easy pickings. But that because usually that
Sometimes it's
first
a bad
drive,
omen.
even for the worst team in the league, like what the offensive coordinator, they script the plays. Things do play out.
John, let's tell the people about DraftKings. Promo code HAM. Click on the link. Get in our league down below.
How about wineaccess.com/ham? Buy $150 worth of wine, get $50 off, guy. $50 off wineaccess.com/ham.
Oh, it's the good stuff.
And that's why for the Niners, like in that first half, you're like, Jimmy Garoppolo's in complete control. Debo's dominating. Elijah Mitchell looked like he's a top 50 pick, not their 6th-round pick. And you're just like, they're kicking their ass.
Elijah
but
Mitchell
offensively,
yeah, he looked. But that's the offense is what we've been talking about for a long time, and it's only week 1, but are there things on defense that are bigger questions than Jimmy Garoppolo? Right now, the answer to that is yes. Right
yeah, for sure.
Now, here's what we also know: over the course of a full season, historically, there are games that Garoppolo has where he does not look as good as he looked on Sunday, and there are opportunities to replace him. He didn't really give the Niners any opportunities to replace him today. They got Trey Lance into the game, which we'll talk about. But he played the kind of game, like, does that Jimmy Garoppolo keep his job for a while? The answer is yes. You know, if it was as the opponent's level rises, if his level still stays at what it was today, the answer to that's yes.
Well, one thing you noticed today that you just kind of forgot, mainly, I mean, I know I did. It's been so long since 2019. Both these guys were hurt last year. It's like, I know Jimmy and George have a good connection, right? But you forget, like, when Deebo Samuel's healthy, that guy's a motherfucker. And Jimmy and him have a connection. Like, Jimmy feels very, very comfortable throwing in the ball. And we can argue, and it's been hard to, like, some of the other guys in his class, right? DK and AJ, they played more. They just, it was easy to kind of, have definitive takes on them. Where, like, you could argue one way or the other on Deebo, and it was hard to be right or wrong. Where it's like, yeah, Deebo, when he's healthy, is a fucking baller, right? Is he AJ Brown, DK Metcalf? I don't know. But he's closer to them than, like, the middle class, right? Like, this guy at any moment in a playoff game in week 1 against a bad team, it don't matter, can give you 8, 9, 10 for $150, a touchdown or 2, right? He can take over. And we were talking about it last year. Was like, you got to figure out ways to just, you don't always want to run them. It's how we get banged up. Today they just kind of, I felt like Jimmy just treated him like, you're my number one. Let's go kick ass and take names.
Yeah. I mean, 9 catches for 189 and a touchdown, John. That is.
Didn't it felt like when 10 was dropping back, it's like, where's 19?
Absolutely.
And there were some plays clearly they scripted for him, right? On a couple, like on that one across the middle, they're like the play was set up. But there was that other one where he threw up. It was like, I trust my dude.
Yeah. And he came back to the ball and made the play and actually showed some speed too, which I shouldn't be surprised by it. But you're right. He hasn't had.
But I forget like what he plays like.
He hasn't had 2 years of just him and 2 years with his quarterback, and it's just the two of them, and they just stack up 9-catch games week after week after week. You're right.
I just feel like if you gave any Niner fan, like, give me the scouting report on George Kittle, I would say like 99% of the fans could give like a pretty damn good scouting report. If you just got 10 people, including in the NFL, and like diehard fans, I think the takes on Deebo would be all over the map.
Well, they'd start with, when he's healthy, that's how they'd start.
Yeah. When he is, like, he has – I get you're playing a team. I mean, let's be real. They might win 2 games. Maybe they could win 4 or 5. I don't know. But it's probably more likely to be 2 or 3 than 5 or 6. But you go 9 for 190. Like, that's no joke, right? That's a real game.
That's a stud game. That's a major.
Because to me, you do like minus the inflation against a shitty team and just put that against a good team. That's 9 for 90, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I threw the ball at you 12 times. You caught it 9 times. You scored a touchdown. I mean, one of them went for 79 yards. It's just production. It's just whatever production is, you know it when you see it, right? If I said, tell me what production is, you're not going to give me 9 for 189. Just be like, I don't know. I'll know when I see production is production. That's fucking A1 production right there.
31 points, DraftKings.
That's what Alex said.
I felt bad when I saw the corner tumbling, just because earlier in the game when they showed the DB coach screaming at him, I'm like, I don't hope that's not Okuda. Like, I feel kind of bad. But then he comes to the sideline and the DB coach like kind of loves him up. My coaching's weird, man. You scream at him when nothing really happens, and then you love him up when he gets his like embarrassed on national TV. It's
Yep.
a hard balance.
Yeah, the problem is when you screaming at him is embarrassing him on national TV.